Good morning everyone, and welcome to the next video of my series on how to build your outdoor kitchen. In today's video I'm going to talk about the planning phase. The first topic that I want to talk about is a correction in my previous video. In my previous video I talked about what gauge steel I used. I said that I used a 20 gauge steel, but I elected to use an 18 gauge steel at the last minute when I was down at the steel shop. The main reason I went with 18 gauge was the pure weight of the concrete countertop, as well as the larger gaps that I was going to have with the refrigerator and the dishwasher and the sink. I elected to go with a heavier gauge steel. There is a markup. It's about 35% more to go with 18 gauge, but in my opinion, bigger is better. In your layout, in your kitchen, 20 gauge may be more than adequate, and a lot of the kits that you see out in the markets are only 20 gauge anyways. So take a look at the different options that you have, look at your price points, and see what works best for you. Okay, so the planning phase. You've decided to build your outdoor kitchen. Next is to plan it out properly. And one of the steps that I took when building this was to get out graph paper. I had all the dimensions of a lot of my equipment already in my layout, and I elected to put to scale a graph paper layout. One of the other steps that I took was actually going to the layout and taping out where every piece and component would be. And some of the components I already owned because I had already purchased them, they were given to me, they were already around the house. And I put all my grills in my refrigerator and dishwashers on furniture dolly, and actually would move them into place. And then leave them for a couple weeks. And allow myself to move around them, walk around them, and see if this layout was really going to work well for me. In the end, it worked out really well for me. I changed my layout probably a dozen or more times over the past year. This was kind of a long, drawn-out project that I've been trying to get around to, and I finally decided on a final layout that I think would work best for my outdoor area. And as you can see, today's raining. And part of that layout of taping or putting your pieces in place and being able to walk around them and see how they work well for you is just the weather. How much of my equipment is going to get rained on if it's underneath the cover patio, how much sun is going to be facing where the TV is going to be or on my equipment. And knowing those weather patterns really helps you get a definite layout. I've seen a lot of guys build their outdoor kitchen and come back after building it and did the I wish I should have done this mentality, that they forgot something or they wish they had added something or changed something. And taking the time to plan and then build really will help you in the long term. One of the concepts in the layout of a kitchen in general, they call it the kitchen triangle. And the concept behind that is it's a triangle between your grilling area or your cooking area, your refrigerator, and your sink area. Because that's the area that you're going to be moving up, down, and in between. There's lots of resources out on the internet on this material, but the basic concept is each leg of the triangle should not be more than 9 feet, between 4 feet and 9 feet, and the total sum of all legs shouldn't be more than 26 feet. Now when we get to outdoor kitchens, a lot of the design theories kind of go out the window because a lot of times we're limited to the space that we have. If you only have a barbecue grill, a refrigerator, and a sink, and it's only in an I format, the triangle doesn't come into play. But it is one of those design concepts, especially if you're designing a much larger outdoor kitchen like I am, to look into. Some of the other tips on the planning phase is I consulted a plumber and electrician before I even started. My plumber already came out and plumbed my sink area because I was going to build the cabinet and butt up against an existing wall. He and I also talked about how I was going to run my gas line out into the outdoor kitchen, as well as looked at the total BTUs of all my appliances. And what we found out is the existing meter in my house is not high enough pressure to handle the existing appliances inside the house, as well as all the additional features that I'm adding to the outside of the house. So part of the planning phase we found out was I'm going to have to call up the gas company at some point. They'll have to upgrade my meter to a mid-pressure meter, and my plumber will add additional regulators on each one of my appliances outside as well as inside. So one of those extra tips that you want to make sure is that if you're adding a lot of components, make sure that you have enough pressure for the gas line coming in if you're doing a natural gas or a in-ground propane tank. The second person that I consulted was a good electrician. One of my concerns, my house was built in 1979 and my electrical panel is from 1979. It hasn't been updated. I don't have a master main switch. And I had concerns whether or not I would have enough power to run my outdoor kitchen, as well as some additional updates that I would like to do for my garage in the future. Came out, checked my panel out, and fortunate enough, with all the circuits that I need to install my outdoor kitchen and the garage, we don't have to update the panel. We can go with the sub panel and I'm perfectly fine. So that's one of the things that you may want to check out well in advance. Make sure all your basics are covered. Your plumbing, your water, your gas, and your electricity is all taken care of before you start building. One of the tips I'll have out there is that some people build outdoor kitchens away from the home, and getting electricity and water to that area can be a challenge. You may not want to trench through your lawn to get all the way out there. And I've seen some outdoor kitchens just use a garden hose. Run a hose out to a utility sink, and it's used just for washing hands, dishes, and pots and pans. Not supposed to be used for drinking water since you're using a hose. And then just use a French drain to drain that gray water. To get electricity, I've seen people just run additional underground rated extension cords. So those are some considerations you may want to take in as you're building your outdoor kitchen in a distance location from the house. So that's today's video. The next video I'm going to go into the actual dimensions of building the outdoor kitchen, and the video following that is going to start building my grill station. So I'll start showing you how I'm cutting the framing studs, how I'm putting them together, and putting the entire frame together. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.